One of the first things we did when we got this place was hello. So when we first bought the place, there was no electricity at all, and it was just candles or oil lamps or torches for light. And one of the first things I wanted to do was, one, be able to have light switches and lights, and two, be able to charge my laptop so that I could work, and my phone so I could work from here. So I knocked up this board at home. It didn't have everything that's on it now. It had very simple, the two fuse boxes at the bottom, the wires in for the battery, and that was pretty much it at the start. Oh, and the solar charge controller. So it's grown over time. So if I would just point out stuff, and I'll show some footage of that. We have this is the inverter. It leads to 2 sockets in the main room, which I use for a monitor and for a laptop. These are 2 fuse boxes. That one is for lights, and that one is for accessories. So we have lights in every room, often multiple. I'm aiming to have some sort of main light and some sort of dim light in each room. And then accessories is things like fridges, the USB sockets in each room, stuff like that. Also the pump, like the pump house, I consider an accessory. So these are generally higher amp fuses. Yeah, so this is the battery charger. So I have a generator in the shed, and because in the winter in Sweden, the sun isn't out very often. We don't have wind yet. We probably will get wind at some point. But for now, we run the generator, which charges the batteries. But everything in the house or in the cabin runs off the batteries. I don't want anything to run off the generator. I just want the generator to charge the batteries, and that runs the house. The charge controller is an MPPT charge controller, so a more efficient one. The cables for that run down through and out the mudroom and into the garden. The solar cells, I'll show a picture, but the solar cell array, I have 100 watt solar panels, and they are really good. But the problem is, because there's such a distance to where they are, they lose a lot of efficiency. But when we redo the roof, I'm going to be mounting them just up there, and then there'll be less than 2 meters of cable to get into the charge controller, so we should be able to get good efficiency. This thing here, there's a battery guard. So at the moment it's wired into, well, so what it does is if the batteries get down to a certain voltage, it cuts off just the input and output. It cuts off that one circuit. I have this because we have a really inefficient DC fridge that we used in the summer, and the solar cells could keep it going throughout the day, but it would drain the leisure batteries. We have 3 120 amp hour leisure batteries. They're lead acid ones. They're not great. I think I've messed them up by, so this switch here is for the pump house, on and off. I forgot to turn it off before the pipes froze. Then the pipes froze, blew one of them, and there's a hole somewhere, and the pressure pump just kept going, drained the batteries really low. So these have been drained really low. I have to get them replaced, because if you drain lead acid batteries past half, then they oxidize or something, and they really mess up the batteries, so they don't really hold a charge anymore. So we're running the lights at the moment. The fridge isn't on because it's winter, we don't need it. I'm going to rewire this in sometime this year to be in front of the accessories box. So if the batteries hit a certain voltage, it will cut off all the accessories, so things like phone chargers and whatnot, but it will leave the lights on. So we'll always have powerful lights. Yeah, so this box behind me, or behind Moni, was this is the first thing I brought along with the rest of the system, and in the front of it is a triple voltage meter, USB and 12 volts cigarette lighter socket. And what I did, my first inverter was a little car one that I plugged into the cigarette socket, and that's how I charged my battery, or the drill that I used to get up and running my one power drill and charge laptops. Now I have the inverter as this panel on it where you can remotely turn it on and off. The plan is to put that down in maybe in the kitchen or in the mudroom, because we're probably going to get a washing machine. But it's a pretty simple system. I don't think we need to expand on it much more. Better batteries, maybe get some lithium ones, the ones that don't matter if you drain them fully. And I would probably get these batteries replaced and put them in the shed. So yeah, that's the power system. I'll show some footage of the lighting and stuff. Please bear in mind that when we first got this place, it was more important for me to put the lighting in quickly than it was to put it in neatly. So some of the stuff people are gonna get a bit OCD maybe about, well, like it's gonna trigger some people, but it works for now. Other plans would be to have some sort of outside lighting. I have a line run for that, and some sort of lights all the way to the shed because it gets really dark at night. Nice. The next thing after the electrics we wanted to do was, so if you imagine a wall across here, here was a pantry in this bit here. Well, I'll show a picture of up here maybe of like how it looked before. And there was a pantry here and another door here that led to a stairs, like it was more like a ladder than stairs that went up like this. And Wesley couldn't get up, and we wanted to use the upstairs bedroom as our own. So we tore all the walls off, this whole wall, all the doors, everything, sanded down all the inside, or at least under here, and the floor, and then built the staircase. It was the first big project we did. So yeah, we took everything out. We put in this upright here. And then we built this as boxing, and I have pictures to show that. And then these beams, these stringers here, they're refurbished parts of, they were actually beams from the wall, and I took them into the shed and refurbished them. And then made the stairs up, stringers, put the stringers in, made stairs across, and then built this underneath. It has two underlights here and then a light in the back bit. We use it for storage. Storage is something that we really need in here, especially more wood storage. So this countertop was an old potato box that was upstairs. Again, refurbished wood as much as possible. And then this was also part of the potato box that was upstairs. New wood for the frame and the sides will be painted white. Everything painted white is new wood, but all the non-painted wood is refurbished wood. So we use it for like storing kettles and gas, which we use especially in the summer when it's too hot to put the wood stove on. These pots are great because they just need some water in them. But you can see how lovely this is like 100-year-old wood. It's beautiful. So yeah, and then trim up the inside, and we painted it. It took a lot to paint it. A lot of effort to paint that. And again, just YouTube videos working out how the like magic ratio of tread height, tread depth. These bits of wood Lovisa picked out from the woods, and they look really nice, I think. We might paint the inside white, but we need to get rid of the wall. No, don't get rid of the wall. Redo the roof. So the stairs initially, they came to about here, maybe a bit further. Well, actually no, you see where the wood has been cut off here. They came this high, so I had to cut back to the wall underneath, and then gave us room to put the stringers in. Something else we want to do is put some sort of barrier cupboard up here, but again, we want to redo the roof first, and then we can work on this upstairs bit. But have this nicely cut up, or like boarded up with some sort of shelving, maybe cupboards up. Here's going to be an office probably, and then here's Wesley. Hello. Don't fall off the edge now. Yeah, so that's the stairs.